All right, a very good evening to you. It's time for Late Night Talk. My name is Kofi Bartels. For those who've been waiting for the last 15 minutes, we do sincerely apologize. Sometimes we have to allow the stream pickup before we come on. It happens from time to time. Well, today you've seen the topic for discussion, autonomy for the state and the state legislature and, of course, the judiciary in Nigeria. What does this mean? And what are the governors saying about this? I mean, some Nigerians have called for this for some time, but the governors are not taking this lying down. Executive Order 10 of 2020 was signed by President Muhammadu Buhari, enforcing financial autonomy for the legislature and judiciary in the 36 states of the Federation as enshrined in Section 121, subsection 3 of the Nigerian Constitution. Get me a copy of the conversation. Thank you. So we have a guest on the program today, a Port Harcourt-based lawyer, Eugene Odey. He joins us, Mrs. Busy Schedule, to talk about this. So we're asking you, do you support financial autonomy for the legislature and the judiciary in Nigeria? And what do you think this means for the future of Nigeria as a nation, its politics, its economy, its democracy? We will take a call later, but we would like to welcome at this point Mr. Eugene Odey, Port Harcourt-based lawyer, par excellence. Mr. Odey, good evening to you.
Thank you very much, Kofi. I greet Port Harcourt people and all those listening across the world.
Thank you very much for your time. What are your thoughts on Executive Order 10 of 2020, which compels enforcement of financial autonomy for the legislature and judiciary in the 36 states of the Federation for the first time?
Kofi, I don't even understand why anybody will want to raise any eyebrow about the Executive Order number 10, which was signed by Mr. President in a democracy. For me, I think that executive order itself was even unnecessary because the constitution we have in Nigeria supports democracy.
Okay. The constitution supports democracy.
Yes, for democracy to thrive, there are basic fundamental principles on which democracy thrives. One is the rule of law. Second is the principle of separation of power. And these things have already been, guaranteed, taken care of by our constitution. Unfortunately, we've been observing these provisions of the law in breach over the years. A situation where you have three distinct arms of government that are supposed to be separate and distinct from each other, having to now be subsumed by way of, in operation, you now have a situation where you have the executive now financially controlling the other arm. Now, when you have one arm of government financially dictating what happens in the polity, it just stands to reason that we are not practicing true democracy. What we are practicing is the unitary system of government,
really,
which we have long deviated from. So I believe that this executive order number 10 is even long overdue.
Okay.
That is just the way to go if we must protect and preserve our nascent. I don't know if he's still nascent.
That's a very good point.
Yeah. But I think we have come of age to begin to think of practicing true democracy in a country like Nigeria that is actually supposed to take the lead in Africa.
Okay. What do you make of moves by the governors of the 36 states to engage, the federal government through the Attorney General of the Federation regarding this Executive Order 10? We hear that ripples of the Executive Order 10 by President Buhari, continued after a meeting, of the Nigeria Governors Forum on Wednesday. They resolved to engage the Minister of Justice and Attorney General, your colleague, a lawyer, Abubakar Malami, on the implications of the order. What do you take of this? In fact,
now let me just tell you, Kofi. There's a saying that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. There is nobody that will have the opportunity of executing absolute power. Power is intoxicating. There's something that comes with power. And then when you give a politician that kind of leverage to exercise uncontrollable power, he will want to hold on to it with everything he's got within him. And that's why we thank God that we have the laws. It is only our laws that are able to curtail the excesses of most of these politicians. So there is no politician that will like the fact, there's no governor that will like the fact that his powers are now being subjected to proper scrutiny by the legislature of the state, and possibly if there's any error, or there's any need for judicial sanctions, that the judiciary will now step up to the plate and administer sanctions on the executive. It is natural that they will want to have absolute control. I mean, in Rivers State, you can see the experiences we've been having recently, where the governor, wants to usurp the powers of the legislature and the powers of the judiciary, all subsumed in one.
Hold on, sir. What are you referring to? I mean, which of the cases or incidents are you referring to when you see the governor try to usurp the powers?
I will not shy away from just telling you the truth. That exactly the demolition saga actually throws it out for everybody to see how the governor, by way of an executive order, made a law by himself, became the judge and jury and an executioner for himself. So, such kind of, when you wield those kind of power, it is street. It is an experience. It's like opium. It's like, it takes you to one kind of level where you become like a demigod.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's an experience that anybody who has will want to secure with everything they have. Nobody wants to have that kind of power where you say, okay, fine, look, I have to consult this particular before I do stuff. Most of these politicians want a situation where they will have powers that are unlimited. And in a democracy, you don't have such powers. You cannot exercise unlimited powers in a democracy. Otherwise, it won't be called a democracy.
But I mean, aren't these? I mean, is it just about the states? What about the federation? Because the president.
I'm talking about the federation. I'm just using Rivers State as an instance.
Okay, all right.
I'm just using Rivers State as an instance because these are things that we see play out in so many states in the country where the governor calls the shots. He is the one who determines who is the chief judge.
Yeah.
He's the one who also determines who comes into the legislative arm. And when these structures are put in place, he also determines how they are being run. In fact, most states you see that the entire legislature is loyal to the governor. Meanwhile, the essence of separation of power is to make for checks and balances. Where the governor as legislator can call him to order.
Don't you think it's more of a case of who appoints or who approves the appointment of the head of the legislature in each state? You remember the whole Daisy Okocha saga when Amechi was governor. I'm sure you do. So and in your state, Cross River State, one is also playing out now between.
I understand. These are the issues. These are the issues where, see, the issue of appointment is different from management of the arm of the government. If the Constitution gave the governor the privilege of participating in the process of appointing the head of an arm of government, that Constitution does not give him the power of absolute control of that arm of government. Once anybody has emerged as the head of an arm of government, at that point it becomes separate, it becomes independent of the governor. The governor cannot sack the CJ of the state without following due process.
But he can appoint. But he can appoint.
You can appoint, but you cannot sack. You can't remove.
But I'm saying
without due process.
I'm saying you also I understand where you're coming from as far as the payment, the money is concerned. What about the appointment? Isn't that an issue that should be of concern? Because I mean, if
Kofi,
I can put somebody who
so many times.
My man there, I can put my man there.
I have advocated so many times there is need for us to tinker with our constitution to remove the process of emergence of heads of arms of government. You don't give the governor, who is the head of the executive arm, the power to determine who becomes the head of another arm, because doing that will mean you're subsuming in a way you're giving the governor the power, some kind of, because they say he who pays the piper pays the tune. All right. If I have a hand in appointing an individual, it stands to reason, even if the law restricts, it stands to reason that I will also have power to control.
Okay.
That's the point. If I have the power to hire, I may also have the power to control.
Yes. So isn't it more of an issue, or more an issue of who appoints than who pays or who controls the purse?
Now, the truth is that the issue of appointment, like I said, that's another discussion for another day. But the issue of financial autonomy, when you give financial autonomy to the various arms of government, you're giving them some freedom, you're giving them an identity, you're giving them self-confidence, you're making them understand their role, the role and the duties they owe the general public, to hold the executive to account to them. And that is the reason why we have representatives in this kind of system of government, where you have representatives representing the people in the House. And because the voices of the people, the members of the House of Assembly, reflects the sentiment of the general society. So when a governor goes astray, a particular arm of government should be able to call him to order to say, look, this thing you're doing runs foul of the law, and if you continue, we have no option than to kick you out. I don't know the last time in this country where we saw impeachment, where the House of Assembly called a governor out and said, look, you have overstepped your bounds, and look, it's time for you to leave. We kick you out by simple vote on the floor of the House of Assembly, and then follow it through with judicial backing, and the governor is gone. It's been long. I think the last time we had something like this was during Obasanjo's time.
Yes, indeed. I think somewhere in a Plateau State or something like that.
Yes, and the reason is because now we have situations where you have political parties, they make their governors to become the leaders of the parties of the state, and then anybody, before you come into the legislature, you have to be loyal to the governor for you to even get a ticket. So you become subservient, you become a servant or a slave to the governor, even while exercising your own constitutional powers as a member of the legislature. Now, what the president has done now is to break that monopoly.
Okay.
If I know that the only thing is that the fear that most of these people will now have is that if I go against the governor, I may end up going against the party, and my second term may not be guaranteed. But as to running of the state, as the administration of the state, as it were, anybody who has the interest of the state, who is a member of the legislature, with this autonomy that they now have, can actually call the governor to account. Because you know that we've been clamoring, a lot of states operate without a budget.
Okay.
But even the budgets that we see these days, most of those budgets you see coming out, they are just rubber stamps. They are rubber stamps.
Some of them you can't even see them online. But Eugene Odey, I want to pause at this point to welcome those who are joining us from River State and around the world, live online on facebook.com/Kofi on air. Good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. Those who are joining us on youtube.com/Kofi Bartels. Good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. Our guest tonight is a Port Harcourt-based firebrand lawyer. His name is Eugene Odey, and he joins us live on the phone. Of course, as I said, my name is Kofi Bartels. Tonight, we're asking for your thoughts on the issue of autonomy, financial autonomy for the legislature and the judiciary in the 36 states of the Federation. Of course, you know that President Muhammadu Buhari recently passed Executive Order 10, authorizing financial autonomy for the state judiciary and legislature. The governors of the 36 states recently met. They had a teleconference. They didn't go to one place to meet. And they decided to engage the federal government on this development. We're asking for your thoughts tonight. Of course, asking you, in your view, is autonomy for the judiciary and legislature in Nigeria a welcome development? And secondly, what do you make of the moves by the state governors? You can contribute with your comments on this live stream. Just type of comments, I'll read them out. And you can also call when we're done with our guest. You can call the number 080-620-99556. 080-620-99556. And I'd like to say special thanks to Stakeholder Democracy Network. I haven't said that before, for supporting us with the network that has given us a good stream. You can see it's really clear. I'm looking at the picture now on Facebook, and it's really clear. And to all 10 of you who are watching right now, I want to thank you very much. Please share this live stream, share this post, so that others who are on your timeline can see and can also join. Like my page, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, and of course hit the notification button so that you can get notified each time we come on board. I also do apologize that we had the intro playing a bit longer than they should have, and I'm sure some of you got tired of watching it. We'll do better next time. Comrade Jesse Akaigo is in first one with his comments. He says, good evening, Kofi Bartels. I'm watching you live from Guara Community in Kana local government area. I want to thank you very much, Comrade Jesse Akaigo. Always good to hear from you. Engineer Matthias Gabriel says, yeah, I'm with you. Destiny, Nathaniel Destiny says, highly commendable. I must thank Mr. President for this move. The governors should for once allow transparency to stand. Jimmy Jack says, good evening. To me, it's a good one, but what must be despite this autonomy, he says. Kenneth Nwokere says, good evening, Kofi. Now which matter day to settle today? Timothy Paul Omojesu says, good evening, Kofi, the best radio station in Port Harcourt. This is not the radio station, this is my page, live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. My Twitter will come up later. But you're watching live from Barnawa, GRA, Kaduna State, Nigeria. I hope you're all safe there, even what's happening in southern Kaduna. My thoughts are with you, and thank you very much for joining us tonight. Ambassador Bright Abali says the order will help independence of organs of government. Victor Wilson says, what's the difference? Anywhere they are, it's like a continuous activity of looting of funds. We have lost the bureaucratic system of following our civil service. Now it's divide and rule, so autonomy cannot change anything. Let time change everything. Okay, someone said it's divide and share. Thanks for your comment there. Mr. Odey, do you agree with Victor Wilson, who says, there will be no difference as far as it's concerned? It's still going to be the same divide and rule or divide and chop. Whoever goes there, whether they're autonomous or not, they will still be chopping. What do you say to that?
Well, if there's not going to be any difference, I don't think the governors are going to bother so much about it.
Okay.
The fact that the governors are keeping is already showing you that it's not going to be business as usual. Because if I know that I don't need the governor to approve what comes to me as a member of the legislature, well, you know that in some states, some legislatures are actually, begging, they go cap in hand begging the governor for what is even due them as of right. But as it is now, the money comes to them, first line charge, straight from the federation account, so they will have no need to be begging the governor for funds and all that. So that will actually give them some sense of belonging and some sense of self-worth and confidence to be able to challenge whatever they feel not going well in the various states. And I'm sure the governors know this. It's not going to be business as usual.
All right. I want to thank Godswill Nwabagi, who is on YouTube as well. He sent in his comment. He says, good evening, Kofi. Thank you very much, Godswill. All right. If you're just joining in, it's Late Night Talk. My guest tonight is Port Harcourt-based firebrand lawyer Eugene Odey, who's been doing some great work in his field as well. Mr. Odey, the governors are engaging with the federal government. I also read a piece from this day after the Governors Forum teleconference. And he says that the governors issued a communique. They said they'll be meeting with the Attorney General and Minister of Justice of the Federation, Abubakar Malami. In the communique of the Governors Forum signed by the chairman of the forum, Governor Kaide Fahimi of Ekiti he said, and I quote, through the NJF Legal Committee, comprising of governors of Sokoto, Plateau, and Ondo, engage with the Attorney General of the Federation to reflect on the implications. I hope you heard the word reflect on the implications of the recently passed Executive Order 10 2020 on governance at the sub-national level. It goes on to say the Executive Order 10. Okay, I think that is the end of the quote. So that's what they're saying. What do you make of this statement by the Governors Forum?
From their body language,
implications.
It just tells you from their body language that a lot of things were not working. A lot of things, the democracy we've been practicing all along was not democracy. It was something different. It was pseudo-democracy. Why would anybody who is in a democracy, who became governor by the process of the constitution, by the workings of democratic tenets, we want to go against the very things, the very foundations, the very things that breathe life into democracy? It tells you that so many things have been working amiss in the country, because there is no better way to secure, for want of words, accountability than what the president has done right now. The Executive Order number 10 will make for accountability, because the executive will always be called to question. The executive will always be called to question whenever policies are about to be executed by them, and if those policies are not in line with the principles, as the principles that brought these people together as a group, to drive the system. Someone will have to pay for it. And that is, I'm sure that's what the president is thinking. The governors have been having a field day. Of course, you can't be talking about anti-corruption. You can't be talking about fighting corruption in a system that is so skewed in favor of the governor. There has to be a way to checkmate this exercise. And that's what the Executive Order number 10 seeks to do.
Okay. Mr. Odey, you are a lawyer. I want to go back to find out what used to happen before now. Now I have a copy of the constitution. We'll look at it, but let me just bookmark it and put it down somewhere. Now, this Executive Order 10 of 2020 by President Buhari didn't start today. President Muhammadu Buhari on June 8, 2018 had signed 4 bills related to Nigeria's constitution, the Nigerian constitution's 4th alteration, the constitution's 4th alteration. If you remember that, 4th, the constitution's alteration, 4th amendment. And the major significance of these bills was the assent to the constitution 4th alteration bill, which granted financial autonomy and independence of the legislature at that time. Now, at the time, Itainang was then the president's senior special assistant on National Assembly matters, Senate, as he was then. And he then, at the time, said that a new law granted financial autonomy and independence to the houses of assembly and judiciary in the states. Now, he said, and I quote, "The funds due to the judiciary are now to be paid directly to the judiciary of those states, no more through the governors." I want to ask you, as a lawyer, and you might choose to recluse if you want to, but you're a lawyer. Is it that, when the governors get these funds, that they withhold these funds or they delay payment of salaries, or how does it work? Because I have not heard when the judges have gone on strike in any state saying they've not been paid. So
now I think what usually happens, if it happens before now, is that the money accruable to the state comes en bloc through the federation account directly to the state FAC account, from where it's supposed to be disbursed by the state executive to the various arms. Now, I'm sure that it's been observed that when these monies come, of course, we know that the president even before now has also signed another executive order granting autonomy to local government councils.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, the reason is that most times when these funds come en bloc, the governor has the onerous task of distributing these funds in line with the principles of separation of power to the various arms of government. But it's been observed that most of these governors withhold these funds and stifle those various arms of. Sometimes they even finger those funds and then they direct it into other aspects of the economy. They can give excuses. They use those money to fund projects of their own imagination and fantasies and all that, while they stifle the judiciary and the executive arm of government. So I think that these are the things that have generated this argument and probably has gotten to the ears of the president. And he says, no, it is wrong. Let everyone adhere strictly to the principles of separation of power. Because as these monies are coming into the state bank account, actually it's supposed to be disbursed in line with the principle of separation of power. But in situations where governors don't follow through with this principle, then I think the additional threat that came with this one is the one that I think will make it different from all the other ones. That any governor that is in breach of this directive by the Mr. President, that such person will have that the money will move directly from the federation account straight to the account of that particular arm of government in that particular state. Or as a matter of fact, maybe the entire federation FAC account of the state will be withheld to ensure that they comply with the order. It's a beautiful thing. I think nobody should want to have anything against them.
All right.
Order.
Okay, Ms. Odey, before I ask my next question, I'd like to welcome those who are just joining us, and I'd like to read some messages here before we go on. Let's see. I think I've read Ambassador Bright Abali's message. Have I? Okay, let's just go up a bit. Timothy Paulo Jason, I've read your message. Thank you, Ambassador Bright Abali. I've read the message. Pastor Denji Samuel, thank you for your time. Says great job. I appreciate you, Pastor. And B.A. Briggs is here. B.A. Briggs says we wait to see if the members of the legislature and judiciary will truly act independently from henceforth. Good move by PMB though. Thank you, B.A. Briggs, for your time. Mr. Odey, The reason I asked the question is, because you cannot declare financial autonomy for the legislature and judiciary when there was no control, or there was nothing to think about or to go against the autonomy. Now you've not told me you've heard of any case where judges went on strike, or a governor withheld the pay of judges or members of the judiciary in any state, etc., magistrates and all that. What about, can we also possibly say the payment of money and other things from the state governors to these judges can also be a way of, can affect the autonomy the autonomy of thought. And for instance, if I as a governor have access to the funds, which of course includes your money, and I decide, okay, I want to give all judges 100 million naira, or I want to build houses for all judges, I want to give judges every year brand new Toyota Land Cruiser 2020, wouldn't that in a way what I'm saying, sway these judges in favor of the governor in question, whoever that may be?
Okay, let me just tell you the truth. Anybody who is controlling your funds can also control you. It's simple as it is. If I am giving funds to manage, because most of this money as it comes in, some of these people, most of these arms may not actually know exactly what has been set aside for them. The governors hold it as a secret. So you see them sometimes executing these things for these various arms of government, and it looks as if it's a privilege. The governor it's not a right, it's like a privilege. So now, if I see what is meant to be a right to me, you're giving it to me as a privilege, I become loyal to you. It's a natural law, of gratitude. I look at it like, look, you're doing a favor to me, and so I want to do that favor back to you. So I will want to protect your interests at whatever cost. So, and these are not the things we want to see.
Okay.
We want to see a situation where we have very, independent judiciary that can, live up to their duties as a judicial arm to do justice. Not just there to do the, to fan, the whims and caprices of the executive arm of government. Same thing too with the executive, with the legislature.
Now
that the money is coming directly to them, okay, they can decide how to disburse their funds in the best way they think fit for them to disburse without having recourse to the governor of the state. So if they decide that they are going to be buying cars for themselves, they decide that they are going to develop the judicial arm in whatever way they think fit, it's at their own behest. Not like, the governor has done this for us. The governor has decided to build the complex, or decided to give us cars, decided to give us allowances to go on vacation and all those kind of things. They will know that this money is our money, and the governor has no hand in it. So their allegiance will not be 100% to the governor. Their allegiance will be to the people.
Okay.
So that's how this thing work.
I'm not as optimistic as you are, Mr. Odey. I wish I were. And as some of you who are watching online right now are with your comments, about the future of independence of the judiciary and legislature. I'm sorry, but I'm not as optimistic as you are. You talked about the law of gratitude. A natural law of gratitude. I give you something. In return, you are grateful to me. You are indebted to me. You give me something of great value. In return, I'm grateful to you, and I'm indebted to you. I'm indebted to you. Is there anything that is in this executive order? Because I haven't, seen it. But is there anything in this executive order that stops state governments? Because the judiciary of the state is still going to be the judiciary of the state. The legislature of the state will still be the legislature of the state.
Yes.
Is there anything in this executive order that says the governors cannot give the House of Assembly members cars and money? That the governors cannot build houses for judges and give them cars and money from state coffers? You control your money. Let Buhari give you the money directly. control it. But me as Governor Wike, me as Governor Yade, me as Governor Udom, we want to be giving all the judges every year, give them brand new Tierra 2020 Land Cruiser. And then we'll be supporting them with 10 million naira each. Is there anything, Mr. Odey, that says the governors cannot support, give, even when they're getting it? Let's add. Because that is, for me, where it lies. What do you say to this?
Kofi?
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Now, let me just tell you straight up. Like I answered the other fellow, that if this executive order was not going to treat these governors of absolute control and absolute power, I don't think they will have any issue. It's just simple. The reason why you have the hues and cries now is that they know that their powers have been, their wings have been clipped, sort of. And their powers have now been, reduced to some extent. And that's just the fact. They now behoves on these heads of these various arms of government to take advantage of what has been given to them by free courts and enjoy it while it lasts. Because constitutionally, the governor does not have control over what happens in the legislature. Rather, the legislature has control of what happens in the executive. The judicial arm is just there as a neutral, like an umpire, like the referee.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is actually between the legislature and the executive. And that's why you have lobbying. You will now see that the issue, the concept of lobbying will be reinstituted and re-established in the various legislative arms. Because the governor, before a bill is passed into law, either a budget or whatever bill that is being proposed by the executive, you have to lobby. You have to be able to convince extensively the legislative arm of government that the bill is considered and passed in your favor. For now, we don't lobby. What we just see is that they just send the bill to the. In fact, the process, the legislative process is more or less a formality. Once it comes as a bill, you can consider it already passed as a law.
Okay.
For instance, you remember the neighborhood watch bill, which was so contentious. That bill was already a bill before. It was already a law before it was even a bill. You understand? If not that it was challenged in court, and also the federal government had to intervene at some point. Otherwise, right-thinking legislators who themselves were opposed to it could not boldly do that on the floor of the legislature for fear of being blacklisted or for fear of some kind of sanctions from the executive arm of government by the governor of the state. But for now, this autonomy that they have is a huge thing that they can leverage on to be able to curtail the excesses of the executive arm of government in their various states. All right, and you know that when a governor understands this, he will be careful how he exercises his powers as a governor. He will be more interested in giving quality governance to his people than just going enjoying the trappings of power as we see some of them do. They are more interested in enjoying the city than working for their citizens.
Okay. Interesting. For those who are joining us, I'd like to say a very good evening to you. It's still Late Night Talk right here on facebook.com/Kofi on air and on youtube.com/Kofi Bartels. I can see nobody's complaining about the audio today. That's great. And we can still have a very nice new setup. I'm sure by Monday we'll have something better for you. But my guest tonight is Eugene Odey, a Port-Harcourt-based legal practitioner, lawyer, and he's been sharing his thoughts on the new Executive Order 10 of 2020, signed by President Muhammadu Buhari, which guarantees financial autonomy for the legislature and and judiciary in the 36 states of the Federation. Quite interesting developments, of course. The Nigeria Governors Forum met via teleconference on Wednesday, and of course they issued a communique where they resolved to engage with the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami on the implications of this development. And of course, my guest has given his thoughts on what he thinks they are out to do. But anyway, if you'd like to share your thoughts, please post. You can comment on the post because we're about to let our guests go. And if once he goes, you can call as well 080-620-99556. Aye. Daniel Wanatoy says the governor should not control the funds of the legislature and the judicial arm. This move by PMB is commendable. Governors are overbearing. Ms. Odey, don't you foresee or do you foresee chaos in politics of the 36 states, in state politics, if the House of Assembly members are let loose? And then, of course, they start, because unity is strength. Even if the governor is controlling everyone, even if he's holding the purse strings and he's deciding who he's going to pay and all that, because I know some governors have withheld payment from some opposition House of Assembly members in the past. I'm not talking about River State; it could be anywhere.
Yeah.
But this control seems to maybe have sort of what I call the China effect, which is everybody's following one person. And you have less and less of the wranglings that we've had in Edo State, in Plateau State, in maybe some of these Imo State and all that. And won't we have political chaos? Because politics is already chaotic once this happens. I mean, House of Senate members forming factions, those who want to impeach, trying to impeach, and the government can't even focus on governance.
And that's the point I was saying. That's what I was, when I said that it will now bring, that's the beauty of democracy. We will now begin to see democracy in its real form, in its natural form. We will see the power play in politics, which makes democracy very interesting. That one person cannot just sit down and decide how he wants to run the system. And there will be no checks, there will be no control, nobody will ask the question. Now, these people have been given a voice. With this financial autonomy now, they now have a voice to say, look, Oga, Mr. Governor, we thank you very much. You're doing very, very well. We think in this aspect you're not doing very well. You have to check it. You have to bend over to the people. The governor himself is exercising a power of attorney given to him by the people, by their mandate through the ballot box. And so the power he's executing is not really his absolute. And the only arm of government that can question him to say, look, we gave you this power to do so and so for us. You're not doing it. If you refuse to do this for us, we will kick you out and get someone else to take your spot. Because the governor is actually supposed to be a servant to the electorate. He's supposed to be a servant to those who voted him into power. And those who should watch what he does and what he doesn't do are the people themselves, as represented by the legislative arm of government. And that's what the essence of democracy is all about. So the idea of having, what you just postulated by Aranko and all that, it won't come into play. Okay? Unless, of course, that we have gone to a level where political parties are no longer seen in, what we used to see political parties in those days. Political parties are more like clubs. They want to perpetuate themselves in power at all costs. So you see a situation where any action that is taken against a governor is seen as an action against a political party. They don't look at it as an action that is seeking to preserve the sanctity of the rule of law. They don't look at it as an action that is taken in the interest of the citizens that put them there. They see it as an action against their political party. And that's why when you see a governor is talking, most times he talks as if he's campaigning. He doesn't know that campaign and all that stops after you've been voted into power. You're now a governor of both. All the political parties in that state are now under you. You're not a governor of APC. You're not a governor of PDP. You're now a governor of the people. Same thing too with all the members of the legislative arm of government and everybody who is in that government, and that including the judiciary. You're not there to serve the interests of your political party. You're there to serve the interests of the people. So when you have a situation where an individual and say, look, I came here for my people, not for my political party. Therefore, if the governor goes outside, the people's rights and people's interests, I have the power to say, Mr. Governor, please, you need to account to my people, to my constituency.
Okay.
But these are the questions I'm getting from my constituency.
So
you need to answer them.
So you're saying the rancor, the chaos is good?
Hello?
You're saying the chaos that might come with this is good?
Well, in states where you have 100%, you have, like in River State now, where you have
one party state.
You have a one-party state. You may not really have such conflict. You may not really have such issues. But states where you have a multi-party state reflected in the legislative arm, like we always say, like jollof rice legislature. Okay?
Did I hear you say River State?
Yeah, River State is a one-party state,
so
as it is right now. There's no opposition, no dissenting voice in the legislative arm. So, of course, such conflicts will most likely not arise. So
wait,
okay.
You said there's no dissenting. What I didn't get the last point you made, sir.
What I'm saying is that you have a state where you have 100% a one-party state. To borrow your word, where you have every member of that particular arm of government belongs to one particular party, and you have a situation where you have issue of party loyalty, which most times they hold above the loyalty to the people. So they will see either anyone who will rise on the floor of the House to speak or to challenge decisions of the executive arm of government will be seen as a betrayal of some sort. And of course, you know that when they gang up against you, that may be the end of a political career. You may not have a guarantee of the return.
Is that what you're referring to as Jollof legislature?
No, Jollof legislature is a legislature where you have different political parties forming the legislative arm.
Okay.
Where you have voices of dissent. Okay. Now, when you have voices of dissent like in America, you have the Republicans and you have the Democrats, who are all members of the legislative arm of government. So when issues come like that on the floor of the House, they are debated. Most times these debates go beyond party lines. They think America, they don't think the political party at that particular point in time. What they are thinking about is the interest of the American citizens.
Okay.
So you see how beautiful it works out there. So
in
situations like that in Nigeria, where you have Jollof legislature, where you have spices from all different political parties forming. You now have the minority wing and you have the majority wing and all those kind of things. You now have an independent legislature that can take decisions without any overbearing influence of the executive. And you know that the chief executive of the state knows that, look, this thing, I don't have to play, because when you do something that you think is going to affect the people negatively, even your own members from your own political party can, in the interest of the state, vote against you.
Okay, so in River State, Barrister Eugene Odey, in River State, how would you describe our legislature? Since you said it's not Jollof legislature, is it maybe EBA legislature or what?
It's a one-party state.
Is it EBA or Bono?
There's no opposition in River State. So, of course, you know that the governor also had a hand in most of those who came as members of the legislature in River State. So whether or not, I'm just telling you in practical terms, whether or not there is an executive order number 10, it may have little or no effect as far as River State is concerned. Okay,
I will come back to that. I was hoping you'd give me a meal to describe the legislature in River State, but maybe can you attempt that?
No, I can't.
Okay,
you can do that.
You don't want to see some phone calls, but anyway, so now you've said that you don't expect any changes in River State, because I thought you were saying, it's Uhuru, it's going to be great, that there's no way things will not change because the governors, if there was nothing to lose, they wouldn't be making noise and writing communiques and all that. But you just said now that River State, you don't expect much to change because they're all queuing up behind the governor.
Yeah, well, I didn't say that we shouldn't expect a change. It's not like a blanket statement I made. I'm saying that considering the kind of partisan politics that we play in Nigeria, where even when these people emerge and become leaders in different arms of government, they are still inextricably tied to party loyalty. And that influences everything that they do. So in a situation where you have 100% one-party stick, one-party system, no one will want to go against the executive who is seen as the leader of the party in the state, whether he is right or he is wrong. Because you know that recently, when he was called out by the general public in the demolition of that hotel in Eleme, you hear a lot of them came out, especially the local government chairman from that act. They came out and supported the government. There was all of them who were in government, including the national members of the National Assembly. They all in support of the government.
We had some congratulatory messages and all that.
Exactly. So you see, that's the problem we have in a one-party state. That's the problem. No one will want to do anything, because saying anything in opposition to the governor's position will be interpreted to mean anti-party. And that's the thing. And once you begin to do things like that, they look at you as someone who is fighting against your own political party that sponsored you, and you run into all sorts of political problems. And all of them who are there want to return. They want to come back. They want to have second tenure, third tenure, fourth tenure, and the rest of them. They want to get their political interest and build their empire for themselves. But if you had a situation where you had divergent views by way of having different political parties converging to form a government, some of these things will just, even without the executive order, people will want to insist on doing the proper thing.
Okay, some messages coming in. I think I've read Ayebaye Daniel Wanatoy's message. The governors should not control. I think I've read this message, but just in case I've not read, let's just go back there. Ayebaye, thanks for your contribution, by the way. He says, just kind of scroll to that. The governor should not control the funds of the legislative and judicial arms. This move by PMB is commendable. Our governors are overbearing, he says. AB George Apangolo, good evening. I think this has brought about the absolute independence of the legislative arm and the executive arm of government in a country, since they can now control their funds and not the governors. I think it would also help the judicial processes as well. The governors should just go about their governance, okay? Godswilly Nwa Baggy says, for me, I see conspiracy in this Executive Order 10. If for any reason this order stands, then let's know that the government at the center will start calling the shots in the 36 states of the country. I've lost confidence in this country. Once there is a new policy, just know that some people have sat down to come up with another selfish idea. Where's the rest of that? Where is this? Okay, that will benefit them and oppress the other. Immediately this becomes a bill. Just know that impeachment of governors will reawaken. So this is an interesting take by that listener, person watching on Facebook. He says that there is no way something like this will come up from the federal government, that it won't have maybe a political undertone or an aim, and maybe the aim is for the center to control the states, to wrest power from the state governors that are not from the APC, for instance, which is in charge at the center. What do you say to this?
Kofi, what the executive order was not targeted at any particular state or targeted at any particular political party. If you look at the spread in the country, you know that APC even has a higher number. So if this postulation that this person has put forward is anything to go by, it will mean therefore that the federal government is going against itself. But I think we should salute Mr. President, for once, because what he has done is well intended. It's something that is going to affect both APC, is going to affect PDP, and there's no how the states will be able to control the center, and there's no how the center can also, outside constitutional provisions, control the states directly. Because it's very clear that states have their own powers enshrined in the Constitution, except in areas where you have concurrent legislative powers that's enshrined in the Constitution. But there are areas that are exclusively reserved for the states, and there are some areas that are exclusively reserved for the federal government. but there are areas where they have concurrent powers to operate. So those things have already been, streamlined by the Constitution. I see no such overbearing influence by the federal government whatsoever.
Interesting, very interesting. All right, we could stretch that, but we won't stretch that because of time. Let's go to the next message. We have two messages before we say goodbye to Mr. Odey, who spent almost an hour with us. Gosul Nwabagi is back. He says for BIC conspiracy in this, I think I've read this. This is what I just read. Okay. Kenneth Diney says it will be a welcome development to give the legislature and the judiciary autonomy with direct funding from the Federation account. They will stop being appendages of the executive where the governors use them as they like. Edin Wanko says if multi-party legislature is Jollof legislature, one-party legislature will be... I need to... Edin Wanko says if multi-party legislature is Jollof legislature, a one-party legislature will be white rice legislature without stew. LOL, he says.
Okay.
White rice without stew.
White rice without stew. All right.
It's well.
So if we have a Jollof legislature, we should have a white rice legislature.
Interesting.
All right.
Interesting. But Eugene Odey, what do you say? I mean, federal government is very willing. The president is very willing to, guarantee autonomy to these arms of government, but it's not fast on the issue of restructuring. Is quite slow on the issue of so-called true federalism. What do you think this says in rounding up?
The issue of restructuring is a different ball game.
And true so-called true federalism. Things like state police and all that. You don't want to go there.
That's what I'm saying. We're advocating for true federalism and restructuring and all that. The principle of true federalism will have to do with the reviewing the issue of, we talked about the exclusive legislative list and the concurrent list and the residual list and all that. Those are the areas that would define, true federalism. For instance, we are talking about decentralization of police and security. Those are the aspects, and those are different arguments for a different. But the issue of the independence of the various arms of government is a different ball game. Look, you cannot be talking about a constitutional democracy and you don't practice this. When you don't have the various arms of government operating separately and distinct from each other, you cannot guarantee true separation of power, and that runs foul to the general purpose of democracy, which is what this executive order seeks to do. And the executive order itself is not a law. And that's where we always get it wrong. The executive order is not a law. It's just an administrative instrument to give vent to an already existing law, which is the Constitution. Okay. The Constitution has stipulated that there are three arms of government. And these three arms of government are the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. So we can't have all this in the Constitution and yet seize all the powers back in principle, in practice, and operation on one arm of government. Therefore, rendering the other arms of government subservient to one. That is not the original intention of what the principle of separation entails and constitutional democracy and rule of law.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. I wish we had time to look at section 121 and all the way to subsection 3 of the Nigerian Constitution, but we don't have too much time.
Yeah.
But usually we try to make sure we have a set here, put up quite properly, and I'm sure when we're ready, you'd honor our invitation when we extend it to you.
Anytime. Yes, anytime.
But I want to thank you very much for your time. Of course, you've always been a reliable friend, and of course, always a good on radio. So I want to thank you very, very much. Keep standing on the side of justice and on the side of people as well. And he's a Donald Trump supporter. We'll have a Trump debate one of these days. Thank you for your time. Have a nice night. Good night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night. All right. So that has been our guest. Eugene Odey is a Port Harcourt-based lawyer, and he's given us about an hour of his time tonight, and we've done almost an hour. I think more than an hour, actually, an hour and 12 minutes. I want to thank all of you who've been listening so far. We're going to have Wonderful, wonderful innovations right here. With this, I don't know what to call this. It's just late night talk. But in the morning, sometimes we're actually going to come to you, and we'll do some things as well. Sometimes we'll have debates. We can invite some of you here to come and to our set and just talk. Sometimes we'll have a Zoom where I can see the person, live and talk to the person and all that. But how can you support me? If you love me, you like what I do. This is something new. It's something innovative. I might just pop up somewhere on a street corner in Port Harcourt and do radio there, whether it be visual radio, something you can see, and something that would probably have never been done in history of Nigeria before. So we will work on that. So please support me. How? Make sure you join us every weekday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, from 9:30 p.m. We're thinking of making it earlier, but it's not easy because we all have to go about our daily activities. And we get home and we're tired, rushing home, curfew and all that. So if we're looking at 8 p.m., probably it might not work. Maybe in the afternoon. I don't know if people would have the time in the afternoon to watch. I don't know. But this is when I have the space at home on my dining table right here to do this, So just do me a favor, please. It'll get better. Share this post. Hit the notification bell. If you are on Facebook or even YouTube, there's a bell notification or a button that says follow and then notify me each time Kofi goes on live stream. You can hit it. Like my page. Invite your friends to like the page so that we can have more people here. And keep following, keep supporting, keep commenting. And when it's time to call in, please always make sure you call in because the phone line is available for you. Now, I must say that what we have done here in the past, when did we even start? This was April. This is almost 2 months, more than April to May, almost 2 months. Has had effect. Things that we've discussed. Is it about Ikoku spare parts market? Is it about the medical doctor who had an issue with the Air Force? Is it about the pharmacist? Thank you very much. There's another one that we talked about. Say the policewoman. Yeah, but there was another one. I asked a question to someone, and I said something on. Yeah, I think also about the transportation. Coronavirus and something. It goes far. I've not been on radio since April, but the impact. Is it about the family that unfortunately lost a baby because police refused them to allow them move around during the lockdown? That thing got on Instablog. So there's a lot that can be done with this. I'm always trying to think about how to monetize it. But we'll figure something out. Let's make that money. We'll figure something out. Okay, so please support me. Support me. If you want to sponsor, we don't look like we did when we started about 2 months ago. We don't look like we did. I don't know if I can play something for you to see how it was when we started. It looks better, So if you can support, we'll keep doing it better, give you better content, a better experience. And if you have suggestions for me, you can do that as well. And I want to thank all of you who shared the post on the lady in GRA who had issues, and had a baby, and they were sleeping on the roadside. Woji Road, not far from Market Square, between Market Square and Casablanca Junction. Sleeping on the roadside. And I put it up on Facebook, and most of you shared it. And many people shared it, let me say. And the story got to the attention of the government because I mentioned social welfare. Then all of you we're mentioning people left, right, and center. And I want to thank all of you for that. Those on Instagram, those on. Let's put hands together for them, please. All right, because it was because you shared it. That's why the thing went out. So I want to thank you guys. The news today broke. Our good friend Eugene Odey said that the Ministry of Social Welfare had gone to pick the lady up and the baby. Now, the word evacuate was used. So our responsibility now is to go to the Commissioner for Social Welfare and ask her, about these two, the woman and the baby, where they are. Because it's not about evacuating them. I've been part of some effort, and the person landed at a rehab center in Irebe. That place is not for human beings. That place is, as it was then, I don't know about now, it's not for human beings. It's for animals. So I don't know where they'll take them. The mother is obviously not too okay, but she spoke to me. I asked her where you're from. She said she's from Ghana. I said, where in Ghana? She said, okay, she's from Zaria. But she spoke good English. It was broken English, but it was cool. She can speak English. And she wore clothes. She covered, at least she wore something. She wasn't naked. Though the baby was naked, she was washing clothes when I went there. I asked her, okay, how does she survive? She said she washes plates. That's in Nigeria. I asked her, where does she wash plates? She said she washes plates in Oyibo. And I laughed. I said, how can you move from here to Oyibo to wash plates and come back? But, so she just needs help. Now, what would the government do? Would they take them to Irebe? Or where? Would they put them in the psychiatric facility and take the baby into motherless babies homes for the meantime? I don't know. So we have to know what the government has done. Are they going to take them and dump them somewhere or take them back to her state? She told me from Zaria. I don't know. So I just want to pray and hope and believe that the right thing be done for the mother and the child. Okay. Thank you for your time. We have to go. God bless you. Sami Dakroma, thank you for putting this all together and helping us, set the light and all that. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Sam Dakroma. Okrika boy. Thank you for your time. From Mukujago. In Okrika. Local government area. No Sabi road to your village. Shame on you. My name is Kofi Bartels. God bless you. Good night. And of course, see you on Monday. Monday, this is going to look better. Okay, it'll look better. And you can also support us with your prayers and by sharing our posts. Where this thing they make you play and make I go. Thank you. God bless you. I love you. Good night.
Thank you.